Sir, I wanted to let you know that we decided to give this role to someone else. During our digital ID background checks, we found that you have 20,000 hours logged on Hello Kitty Island Adventures on Steam. Quite frankly, that is not the type of quality we want to associate with. I just left the game open as a joke. I promise I don't obsess over Hello Kitty. Privacy Academy with Eric Meter. Hello and welcome to another episode. Today we'll be talking about the extremely depressing and horrible topic of digital IDs. And as you know, I do not like having fun in these videos, so let's be very serious. All jokes aside, digital IDs are really scary stuff. Both Glenn and I work hard to educate people on what's going on behind the scenes without fear-mongering or spreading fear. And while the truth is, their plans are scary. And it is very easy to get pulled into a black pill scenario where you feel hopeless to what's going on. I felt that way many times. And before I get into this video, I want to make an extremely important point. Out of all the tools that globalists and power seekers have, there's one more powerful than all of the others. And that power is fear. Fear is crippling. Fear makes you surrender your control. And fear makes you feel hopeless. They want you to be too afraid to stand up for yourself. They want you to be so afraid that you don't even stand up in the first place. And do you know why? Because without fear, they lose. So the biggest thing as a freedom lover you need to do is choose love over fear and actively participate in protecting your freedom. It might sound cheesy, but it's true. I won't go too in depth about how you can identify fear on a very deep level in this episode, but learn to trust, learn to have faith, and stand up always. So with that said, let's start talking about digital IDs. Digital IDs are a dream scenario for power seekers. If I knew nothing about the technocracy or the surveillance state, then I'd think a digital ID is nothing bad. It's just an ID. I have one in my wallet. I show it at the airport. I put my forms online when I fill out taxes and I sign up for programs. But people don't realize how far the surveillance state can grow. So what really is a digital ID? And how is it different? It's not just a digital piece of paper. It's your identity tied to all of your actions. So how is that even possible? How can all of your actions be tracked and tied to you? Well, first off, with your smartphones and computers, you almost share every aspect of your life, whether you know it or not. Almost all communication happens through them. They're with you almost all times of the day, meaning that they can track your location and they can track what you like, what you comment, where you spend your money, what your weaknesses are, and they can listen in with the microphones and watch with the cameras. They can see who you're friends with, what news you watch, and what you believe spiritually and politically. So already by tying all of these things to you and your profile, you're sharing almost every aspect of your being with whoever holds the digital ID. But as the digital ID system progresses, they will start implementing more and more Face ID cameras in public, in the streets, and in grocery stores. Even modern cars are filled with microphones and cameras. It's weird we don't talk about that, right? With this surveillance system, you will be tracked and profiled to the highest degree, not by some NSA agent, but by the ever-watching, always thinking AI software that's designed to gather and organize all of this data. With a digital ID, all of this information will be tied to you and you will be rewarded or punished for it. It's exactly what I've been saying for years with the social credit system that's coming to the West. It's the most powerful system to have ever existed for power seekers and tyrants. But with the creation of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, our founding fathers changed history. They gave generations of Americans and the whole world an unimaginable gift, which is evident in the statement that they wrote. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Woven into the DNA of the people of the United States of America is the assertion that our rights are granted to us by God, not the state. Liberty is ours by birthright. We are free to live our lives in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And by living free, we've created a thriving and caring society. Liberty is exactly why we prosper. The state does not have the authority to take away we the people's God-given rights or to infringe upon our freedoms. In fact, the government's proper role is to protect individual liberty. But today, individual liberty faces a bigger threat than our founding fathers could have ever imagined: surveillance technology. Surveillance technology is extremely dangerous to liberty. In fact, without privacy, there can be no liberty. For example, let's imagine what would have happened to our founding fathers if King George III had the level of surveillance on them that our government has on us now. If they could track where they were every second of the day, who they met with, who they had lunch with, if they could listen on all of the conversations that they had, even in their homes, if they could see what they wrote before it was even published, if they knew every cent that they owned, where it was, and who they paid, then they surely would have all been rounded up and shot. They would be a simple footnote in history, forgotten in time. Never before in history have psychopathic tyrants had the technological tools that they have now. We're getting very close to a time that they'll be able to totally and completely surveil every person across the globe at all times. They've been working for a very long time to put the global surveillance network in place. They want to see everything that we do in our real lives and online. What websites we go to, where we get our news, who we talk to. They do not want us to do anything anonymously. They want us to be totally locked down, and they do not want you to have any privacy at all. Why? Because information is power, and when they collect information about you, they have power over you. More than this, when they have total knowledge about you, they have total control over you, and they have succeeded in slowly trapping us in a surveillance prison. More so, they've trained us to actively seek it out. People wait in line for the newest iPhone. People brag about their smart fridges and their smart cars without understanding that these new features are really surveillance tools and control tools marketed to us. And more so, the power seekers have convinced people that privacy is not important, especially the younger generation. Influencers share every aspect of their lives online. Our younger generation sees that depravity and openness of all parts of life is not only okay, but rather rewarded. This leads people to say things like, why do I care if the government knows what I say? I'm not a criminal. I've got nothing to hide. This statement is a common one, and it's a statement of naivety. The truth is, we've lived in prosperity for so long that we don't understand what true tyranny looks like. We do not understand that the term criminal is defined by the government, the same way it was in Nazi Germany, the same way it was in Soviet Russia, and of course the same way it was in communist China. This is not an accident. This is an elaborate plan that has existed for countless decades. It is globally orchestrated, and big tech has crept in under the name of free market, when in reality, they are nothing more than a glorified wing of the government, a surveillance monopoly. But recently, the globalists have been speeding up their plans. On one hand, this is good because it gives us more proof. They've shown their hand too fast, but also, it shows that we only have a window of time before their jaws clamp shut. And with the tech system that's already in place right now, we're looking at the most tyrannical system to ever exist. Now, before I go further, I want to make an important point. The point of this article is not to scare you. Out of all the tools that power seekers use, fear is the most powerful. They want people weak, they want people hopeless, and they want people complacent. There's a reason that this has taken decades to set up, because we the people will not stand for tyranny, and that is something that they are afraid of. That's why they've had to tiptoe their way in. Like I said, most people are completely unaware of their plans. That is exactly how they want it. So do not fear, use this information as a warning, and focus on love and liberty. The next big push that they plan to do for their system of control is the digital ID or real ID. Most people shrug and say, what's so bad about having a digital ID? I'll never lose it and it's more convenient to travel with. This is exactly the marketing that people have bought into. But a digital ID is one of the most dangerous tools in their toolkit. A digital ID will tie everything to you. And sure, it may be rolled out for travel first, but it will quickly evolve into every aspect of your life. Soon they'll say that a digital ID is necessary to access the internet. We're already seeing politicians all over the globe push for this. And of course, they have strong arguments and marketing tactics to push their goal. The most common argument I hear is, we need a digital ID in place to protect children from social media and porn. Well, how would this be done? Everyone will have to identify themselves to access the internet. This argument is very low-hanging fruit. No one wants children to see porn or face the damage of social media. It's a very easy argument to make, and it is a hard argument to counter. But let me ask you, do our politicians actually care about our kids? It was only mere years ago when they labeled parents domestic terrorists for standing up at school board meetings when they were upset that porn was allowed in their children's libraries. It was the politicians who pushed for sexuality trainings in schools. They do not care about our kids. They only care about creating an argument for digital IDs. They will say whatever they have to in order to get one in place. Let me explain. When the power seekers like JP Morgan, Paul Warburg, and Frank Vanderlip came together to create the Federal Reserve, they knew that the first step in creating the Fed was just getting it up and running. It was not the scam behemoth that it is today. That's because over years it slowly twisted its definitions and rules until it became this hulking amalgamation that is now the source of almost all corruption today. This is exactly how they plan to implement a digital ID. They will say all of their greater good arguments until we've rolled over and agreed that, yeah, it is best for the population. And once their system is in place, they will continue their tiptoe until they've sank the digital ID into all parts of our life. We will be identified everywhere we go. In 2019, China was estimated to have 200 million facial ID surveillance cameras. This is coming to the West. Soon the smart cars and phones that we've loved so dearly will be tracking us in much greater detail. Every action will be judged and punished instantly. The First Amendment will be eviscerated. The Fourth Amendment will be eviscerated. The Sixth Amendment will be eviscerated. The Constitution, or in other words, our liberty, will be eviscerated. And before you doubt this, take a look at the Canadian trucker convoy in 2022. Justin Trudeau illegally froze the assets of peaceful protesters without trial. His tyranny was a hint towards the tyranny of future digital IDs. In 2024, England let out an eerie tweet saying, "Think before you post," after they arrested people for anti-immigration tweets. Tweets! These may seem dramatic now, but with the system that they're planning, this will be nothing out of the norm. In fact, the norm will be much worse than this. With our smart world, they will be able to turn your car off remotely and prevent you from travel. They can freeze or delete your bank accounts instantly. They can blacklist you and punish anyone that interacts with you. They will know everything about you and have complete control over you. So yes, a digital ID is not more convenience. It is a key piece in their puzzle of slavery. Okay, by this point of the article, you may be feeling blackpilled. I want to reiterate, do not fear. That is what the globalists want. Instead, let's take a moment to be grateful that these are merely plans and not a reality. Yet. But I also hope that you can see that we cannot simply sit by and be complacent in their plans. Getting private is not impossible, and it is essential to our liberty. Just like COVID, we cannot comply with illegal laws. We need to be proactive now and exit the surveillance state ahead of time. My father and I have been spreading awareness about this for years, and I want to leave you with one ray of hope. The online privacy and freedom community is growing by the day. We do not have to change everyone's mind. We only need to reach a small portion of the population to bring this issue to critical mass. Getting private is not impossible. It's very doable, and the privacy niche is filled with powerful solutions to all of their evil big tech counterparts. So next time, before you opt in for a new iPhone or smart fridge, stop for a second and realize that you're trading your freedom for convenience. And choose a non-big tech solution instead. My father and I are not just about spreading awareness, we want to help people actually exit the surveillance state. 5 years ago, we created Privacy Academy as an educational program where you can learn how to exit the surveillance state. We provide real actionable steps at a pace that will avoid overwhelm. We hold multiple weekly classes, we have multiple pre-recorded courses, and we focus on teaching non-techie people. We also have an active community of freedom lovers and privacy experts if you ever get stuck in your journey. I'm so proud of what Privacy Academy has become. It's so much more than a business for us. It's a mission. Because without privacy, there can be no liberty. Whether you choose to join our newsletter, sign up for a program or not, I really urge you to get private and spread the message of privacy. Online privacy is the issue of the century, and most people don't realize it yet. Do not be complacent and do not be afraid. Thank you.